reservations about yes. If as a speaker you have any reservations about being recorded, please do let me know, or the second host, which is Cyril, let us know. We'll turn off recording, let you finish your speech, and then put the recording back on. But if you don't tell us, it's going to be tough for us to splice up the video and say only we're going to remove your part and let the other part go. So please, if you have any reservations, please do let us know. But it's actually a good thing to go back and revisit old videos of yourself speaking. It gives you a third-person perspective on how you appear on camera. For example, I'm always surprised to see my voice sounds completely different on video than it does when I'm speaking. Right now, my voice sounds deep like Amitabh Bachchan and Morgan Freeman. But when I listen to myself on video, I sound like a little bird chirping like that. I'm not blessed with a voice like our friend Cyril. Speaking of Cyril, he is triple hatting. So if anyone wants to step up and take up a role from him, he's the presiding officer, the grammarian, and the evaluator number 2. If somebody wants to be the grammarian, please do let us know. We'll be able to fit you in as a grammarian. But if you want to let Cyril handle everything, let him do that. Which reminds me, anyone who's taking up a role, please remember to update your name and put your role against it. If you're speaker number 1, you'd probably put something like speaker 1, like Riddhi has done, speaker 1, speaker 2, evaluator 1, evaluator 2, all those things. We are still waiting for a couple of people to join. Our counter is missing, and I guess I'll be the timer as well, using some version of some online tools to keep track of time. Did I miss anything? I've spoken about the rules of the road. Video needs to be off, audio needs to be off if you're doing something else. I've spoken about updating your names. I have talked to you about the mission of the club. And I think it's time now to understand that my time on stage is coming to an end, and we need to call up a person who makes a career out of who's making a career out of having a voice that he's been given. Let me call up Toastmaster Cyril Paul. Oh, and lest we forget, our friend Toastmaster Cyril Paul is the reigning 2023 International Speech Champion for District 98, 7 states. Oh, and Cyril, I'm going to ask for your consideration, because I want to include, of course, your photograph, of course. I also want to include Toastmaster Avinash in this, if his cameras are. Yes, these 2 gentlemen were in the finals of the District 98 International Speech Contest. And at least on my screen, the positioning of the 2 speakers is also in the position in which the results came out. Toastmaster Avinash was the first runners-up, right behind Toastmaster Cyril Paul, who was the district champion. There are two possibilities after this. Toastmaster Cyril could go on and represent us at the next level, or if Toastmaster Cyril feels too tired to give one more speech, it'll be Toastmaster Avinash, distinguished Toastmaster Avinash, who'll be going to the next level and presenting District 98 at the All India level, if I'm not mistaken. And for people who don't know about Toastmasters, there are contests. As you grow in Toastmasters, you feel that you're improving as a speaker, you can participate in speaking contests and evaluation contests and all sorts of fun things. Both these stalwart speakers are previous champions in different types of contests. This time they went head to head, and Cyril came out on top for the international speech contest, and he'll be going to the next level. And that Cyril, let me see if I can drop Avinash from the meeting. I mean, not from the meeting, from the spotlight. And that's Cyril, the one who was on stage winning accolades and wowing the audiences, is now the presiding officer for this meeting, taking our meeting to the next level. And Cyril, with that, the control of the meeting is all yours to take forward.
Thank you. Thank you so very much, Sai. I keep telling people that I'm already 6 feet 1 inch tall. And then when people pull my legs so much, I really have trouble buying new clothes. Having said that, everyone, rest assured, so long as Avinash and Sai are in the meeting, you're looking at Team B sitting here, Team Beta. Team Alpha is pretty much out there. And having said that, we all try our best. And at BKC Fireflies, we're a 4-year-old club. And in those 4 years, we've produced champions, district champions twice. And we've had people going all the way up to district finals. We had complete newbies coming up and going all the way into the district finals, I believe in each year, right? Except the first year, Sai, correct me if I'm wrong. In all 3 years, we've had people going all the way up to the finals, or
Yeah,
maybe division
not-
level at least.
Yeah, at the division, yes. I think Geo was even the first. I think Geo had gone to the division level.
Right. That talks a lot about the kind of passion that we have and the kind of training that we provide all of us. So in case you're planning to attempt any contest, whichever formats, please feel free to visit BKC5. Please feel free to reach out to Sai or me. We'll be more than happy to help you with everything that we've got. You don't need to be a member. We'd love it if you're a member, but you don't need to be a member otherwise. On that note, let me interact with a few of the guests. I see returning Toastmaster Amruta Deshmukh. Sai, could we have Amruta on spotlight? Amruta. Hey, Amruta, good to see you here.
Hello, good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Good evening. For those who do not know, Amruta's excellent yoga practitioner.
Yes.
Yes, and she also has got a YouTube channel, I'm told. I haven't seen it, but I'm told that you used to post very regularly.
Yeah.
Amruta comes back to BKC Fireflies. I believe this is the third time that you're visiting BKC Fireflies.
Yeah, third time. I think
Looking-
before I had taken evaluator room, and now this time for table topic master.
Right, right. Soon we'd love to have you as a speaker as well.
Maybe in some time.
Absolutely. Looking forward to your table topic session.
Thank you.
We also have somebody else who's my fellow person in black. That is our guest, Cynthia. She's attended so many Toastmasters meeting at BKC Fabula. She doesn't feel like a guest. She feels like a honorary member. Hey, Cynthia.
Hi, Cyril. Yes, I do feel like a member and I need to really make it official now. It's high time. I just told Sai about it just now. I'm totally guilty of attending it without being a member.
Oh, that doesn't matter at all. It's always a pleasure to listen to you and see you. We love your voice, and feel free to attend as many meetings as a guest, and feel free to speak at each of those meetings. Please don't say silent.
Thank you. Yes, I will.
I see Toastmaster Sai Sri Shastri. Is this the one and only Toastmaster Sai Sri Shastri? Sai Sri, could you unmute and come on camera? If this is the person whom I think it is, she was sitting right next to me at the D98 finals. She's immensely talented. She's a singer and a dancer, and it's a shame that we can't see her right now. All right, we have somebody else who's come online. That is Toastmaster, our very own Toastmaster, Pranav Advani. Pranav, could you unmute and come? There you are.
Hi.
Hi. Pranav was vacationing, or rather workcationing in Himachal Pradesh, and he's grown a goatee from there. Have you been?
I've been extremely well, Cyril. Thank you so much for asking.
Right. This is the time when I ask you that we have a role vacancy for a timer. Rather than having Sai and me double hatting, triple hatting, would it be possible for you to take it up?
I unfortunately have a meeting at 7 o'clock, so I will be dropping off. But I had half an hour free.
No worries at all. Please do come back for the table topic session if you can.
Yeah, I will.
Right. Who else? We have Avinash Kumar, who's a speaker. Avinash, are you caught up, or could you just come online and let's have a quick round of Q&A?
He'll come online after 7. He's 7 mentioned already.
All right, all right. Am I missing anyone there?
Ujjwal.
Ujjwal. Hey, Toastmaster Ujjwal. Quickly tell us, not a Toastmaster, guest Ujjwal. Quickly tell us what got you to visit BKC Fireflies. Maybe a one line of introduction about you and what got you here.
Hello, everyone. This is Ujjwal. This is the first time I'm joining the Toastmasters live session. I have seen a lot of friends and my colleagues who have joined Toastmasters and have seen them doing incredibly well in the communication and how they have grown how well they communicate, the message they want to reach, to make it reach to the audience. They were able to communicate. So that is the one of the reasons that I joined Toastmasters.
Awesome. Looking forward to hear you speak. I know that you're not a Toastmaster yet, but then looking forward to hear you dip your toes into public speaking in the table topics round. The table topics master is right here, Amruta. Do give him an easy topic. He shall be volunteering.
Yes.
All right.
Thanks.
Am I missing Toastmaster Uma? Could you unmute and come online?
Yeah, good evening. So
Good
this is the, yeah, I'm from Speak Magic Club, Chennai. This is the first time I think I'm participating here.
Right.
So look forward to a lot of takeaways. Thank
It is
you.
a pleasure to have you. Do tell us a little bit more. I mean, how did you hear about BKC Fireflies?
From the Global Toastmasters group. I'm a member of, I think in the Speak Magic guest group, I got the message and the link.
Right.
So I thought I will attend since I was free.
Right. Okay, excellent.
Yeah.
Welcome to BKC Fireflies and looking forward to hear you speak as well. I
Sure.
believe I have exhausted the guest roster. The last person that I'm going to speak to would be our very own visiting Toastmaster, Speaker 1, Riddhi. Toastmaster Riddhi.
Yes.
Sai, could you spotlight? You've seen BKC Fireflies for a while now. You've seen us swing from some crazy meetings and some interesting meetings. Welcome to BKC Fireflies. This is the second time that you're speaking here. All the very best for your speech. Just wanted to say that.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Cyril.
Let me not hog the spotlight, as I would say. Let me introduce you to someone who's very interesting character, one of the most interesting characters in BKC Fireflies. I'm always confused how to introduce him, whether it's Dr. Toastmaster Saurabh or whether it's Toastmaster Dr. Saurabh. He's a restaurateur. He's a motivational speaker. He's a men's coach who spends time to ensuring that menfolk are the best versions of themselves. It's his first time as Toastmaster of the day. And let me just keep my mouth shut. Wish him all the very best. And over to you, Toastmaster Saurabh.
Thank you so much, Cyril. Thank you so much. Of course, it's my first time, so let's see how it goes. Let's begin. Welcome to BKC Fireflies meeting 115. And today's theme for the meeting is lessons my children taught me. Wow. Of course, it's an interesting topic, but I'm not going to keep it serious. I'm going to make sure that it is a bit light, hilarious, and interesting and engaging. So, I have a pleasure of sharing lessons my children taught to me in the last 3 years. I know parenting is quite an adventure, filled with unexpected moments, fair share of laughter, and a lot of things. So, I have been blessed with an incredible opportunity to learn invaluable lessons from my 2 daughters. Yes, 2020, we had seen the arrival of COVID, lockdown, a lot of issues, but yet I was lucky to be blessed with twin daughters in 2020. Now, even today, when they're 3 years old, so far they have been my greatest teachers, shaping my perspective and enriching my life in ways I could never have anticipated. So, before I introduce our tag team, Timer, our counter grammarian, let me tell you the tag team about my 2 girls who actually form a tag team in order to, get things done or, do something funny or complete a task. Just imagine the 3-year-old twin girls tagging along together to get things done. So I'm going to talk a lot about the lessons that they've taught me throughout the session, in between, and I'm going to tell you how things are funny, hilarious, yet serious, and a lot of unique lessons that they teach me. So before we move on to the session, let me tell you the lesson number 1 that they taught me. The art of negotiation. I'm an MBA in marketing. I've done sales into international business for 4 years. I've been an entrepreneur since 2015. Now imagine, I have faced and aced the art of negotiation, and yet my 2 little cute devils outsmart me in this art of negotiation, especially when they form a tag team. I mean, just imagine the power of the negotiation with these kids. From I'll eat these vegetables only if you give me a dessert, to I won't use the mobile for one whole week unless you show me the cartoon on the television set. These kind of statements, these kind of negotiation tactics have become a part of our lives. They taught me a lot on this, so much so that, I have understood that sometimes a well-presented argument or a well-timed puppy doggy face can work wonders. Just be prepared for the occasional eye roll. The realization that your negotiating skills need to be polishing, even though you have been an entrepreneur, you have been in sales. That's my lesson number 1 from my kids. Moving on, we'll be having such funny lessons coming on from my kids, and I'll be talking about that throughout the session. So let me take you through the event today. So our event has 3 segments today. One is prepared speeches, second is table topics, and third is the evaluation. So let's begin. So before we move to the prepared speeches, let me introduce to our tag team. That is the timer, our counter, and grammarian. I want to call upon the timer, Sai, to introduce yourself and explain the timings for the speeches.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster of the day. My role as a timer is to keep track of time throughout the meeting, including when people are giving prepared speeches, participating in table topics, or giving evaluations. The usual signals that we use for time in Toastmasters is that there is a minimum time required in order to qualify to be voted as the best speaker or the best evaluator or the best table topic speaker. That's at that moment, my screen will turn green. When you've hit the middle point, which is usually between the minimum time required and the maximum time allowed, the screen will turn yellow, and eventually it'll turn green, and there will be a grace period after the end. After that screen turns, sorry, I said green, I meant red. After the screen turns red, there'll be a grace period of 30 seconds usually on top, and that's how the timing will go. For the prepared speeches, usually it's 5 to 7 minutes, in which case my screen will turn green at 5 minutes, turn yellow at 6 minutes, and turn red at 7 minutes, and stay red until the speaker finishes speaking. And there will be a visual indicator because we're using a specific tool, but in general, Toastmasters does not encourage the use of any visual indication that your timing has elapsed. That's what I will be doing as the timer for today.
Thank you so much, Sai, for the wonderful explanation. Moving on to our counter, Sandhya. I invite our counter, Sandhya, to help us with your role.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day, and good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. My role today is that of the R counter. As the R counter, it is my job to take a note of all the crutch words, the repeat words, the fixed words, etc. that any speaker might use today during the meeting. I will give my report at the end of the meeting when called upon by the general evaluator. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you so much, our counter, Sandhya. Very well explained. And now, moving on to our last facilitator team, grammarian, our very own Cyril Paul.
Thank you, Toastmaster Saurabh. As a grammarian, you can think of me as the language quality control inspector of the meeting. I shall be paying close attention to all language used by all the speakers. I shall make note of all the good use of language and the not so good use of language. It's also my responsibility to give the word of the day today. The word of the day is censure, C-E-N-S-U-R-E, censure. Censure means to express severe disapproval. The meeting did not begin on time, and therefore the general evaluator censured the role players. The company did not meet with its goals. Therefore, the board of directors censured the CEO to express severe disapproval of goings on. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you so much, Cyril. Wonderfully explained, and I urge everyone to try to use the word of the day in your speeches and your statements. So let's begin with our prepared speeches. We have 2 prepared speeches today. So let me call upon the first evaluator to talk more about the speaker 1. I am moving to evaluator 1 side.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster for the day. Our first speaker, Toastmaster Riddhi, has been asked to reflect on the different communication styles that people can use to express their thoughts and opinions and ideas. And also maybe tell us which communication style she has picked as representative of her particular mechanisms of communicating her ideas to the audience. And that's what I will be evaluating her speech on. Her speech is 5 to 7 minutes.
Thank you so much, Sai, for explaining the speaker one speech. Now, before I call upon speaker one, let me introduce you to her, Riddhi Shah. Riddhi is born and brought up in Gujarat, and she's an IT professional, a now homemaker, and a Toastmaster since a year. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Riddhi Shah. Riddhi.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Am I audible clearly?
Yeah, clear.
Yeah.
Can you see the timing screen?
Yes.
Okay. So Riddhi, communication is the key. Communication is the key. Toastmaster Riddhi.
Communication is the essence of human interaction, the vital link that connects us to one another. Communication is the process that defines our relationship, influences our success, and ultimately defines us who we are. Good evening, fellow Toastmaster. I'm Toastmaster Riddhi. Let me ask you one thing. What is the first thing you desire when engaging in a conversation? Any answer? Undoubtedly, it is attention. We all engage, we all demand attention while engaging in any conversation. Think about how you address your colleague and how you address your loved ones at your home. The way you speak to your children. In spite of using the same words, we use different tones with different emotions. In this world, every individual possesses different styles of communication. Our Toastmaster International has categorized communication style into 4 basic styles. They are the direct, initiative, analytical, and supportive communication, which can be acronymed as DIAS. Now, I will relate all this communication style to the roles that we play as a Toastmaster. Starting with the direct communication, I would like to relate this style with the role players of tag team. The way they present their report are direct, informative, and independent. They are decisive, confident, and result-oriented. Coming to the next, that is the initiative communication style. To this, I would like to relate the role of the Toastmaster of the day, how they initiate the conversation. They make each and everyone in the room comfortable. They are sociable and spontaneous. They are enthusiastic, energetic, and this communication style is termed as initiative communication style. Coming to the third, that is analytical communication style. Can you guess which role player can be related to analytical style? Anyone can unmute and answer.
The evaluators and the R counter, perhaps?
Exactly, the evaluators. How they analyze the whole speech. They present the precise and concise report. They are exact, systematic, and organized. Such communication style is termed as analytical communication style. Moving on to the last one, that is the S for supportive communication style. To this, I would like to relate a beautiful role in the Toastmaster, that is of mentors. How they are approachable, they are gentle, calm, and supportive to each and every member. They are careful and patient. They can also be considered as dependable and loyal. Such is the supportive communication style. Let me clarify one thing here. No individual possesses any one particular style, but they keep on adapting different styles depending on the situation at hand, and hence make a better and efficient communication. My primary style is, let me share you one incident first. Few years ago, during my tenure as an IT trainer at a prestigious institute, I had a student named Maya. She was very enthusiastic and diligent in class. But somewhere I found her, she was perplexed and withdrawn. Few days later, after class, I approached her. Maya, is everything fine with you? And she was, yes, ma'am, everything is fine. She was hesitant, but through our repeated conversation, I encouraged her and made her believe that I am there to listen and trust her. And she can trust me. I will support her. Through various conversation, she opened up and she eventually said about the pressure that she was feeling with the academic excellence. She was very much confused with the progress of her peer classmates. And she was always in the dilemma. She was not sharing this to anyone. I listened to her and gave my full focus and empathy. I acknowledged her feelings of self-doubt and assured her that she was not alone experiencing such feelings. I even shared her examples of other students and made her understand that setbacks were a natural part of learning progress. Together, we brainstormed strategies to manage her stress, develop a healthier mindset. I encouraged her to focus on personal growth rather than the sole achieving perfection. We discussed setting realistic goals. We seek confirmation and help from her peers as well. We practiced self-care activities to alleviate her academic excellence. At the end of the term, I saw her gain that confidence and a different perspective. She began to take challenges with more positive outlook. Our open and supportive communication not only helped her navigate her academic concern, but also strengthened our relationship. From this incident, I realized that my primary style of communication is supportive communication. And to conclude with, I would like to say just one thing. Bad communication ends a good relation. And equally, a good communication will end bad relation. Thank you, and over to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you so much for that wonderful speech, Riddhi. I totally agree with you that communication is the key in any kind of relationship. And it's the same when I follow the right kind of communication with my daughters. So moving on to the next speaker. But before we move on to the next second speaker, talking about communication and health, let me tell you the lesson number 2 that my daughters taught me. You know, frankly, when it comes to kids, sleep is always overrated. Now, as a mental health coach, I always tell people that a good night's sleep is essential for a productive day or a productive person. But my daughters have shown me that sleep is merely a suggestion. Every night when me and my wife, you try to put them to bed, I don't know, there's some kind of skyrocketing energy that, you know, emerges out of them. It's like they've been injected with a heavy dose of Red Bull. You know, we are totally exhausted throughout the day. We get more exhausted while putting them to bed, but no, they don't give up. From bedtime dances to early morning wake-up calls that could rival any rooster. They have demonstrated energy that knows no boundaries at all. So, ladies and gentlemen, grab an extra cup of coffee, embrace the chaos, because who needs to sleep anyway? So, moving on to our next speaker. Before that, let me call Evaluator 2 Cyril Plol to explain about the speech of the speaker number 2.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day. Speaker number 2 is Avinash, and we're in for a treat today because his project is to deliver a speech which is a story, or to deliver a speech that contains a story. I wish Avinash all the very best, and the timer, please note, the timing for the speech will be 5 to 7 minutes. Back to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you, Evaluator Cyril, for the crisp introduction. So now I'm going to call the speaker number 2, but before that, let me introduce him. Speaker 2 is Avinash. He's a physics teacher, in a reputed coaching in Kota, Rajasthan. You know what the place is famous for? guiding students to crack medical entrance examination. He loves reading, he loves traveling. He's also from another club, Royal Orator Toastmaster Club. And so, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome speaker 2, Avinash. Avinash, are you there?
Yeah, I will be available in just 2 minutes only.
Okay.
Yeah.
Toastmaster Saurabh, I believe Toastmaster Sai has raised his hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to mention to you, that I think Avinash was going to was running a little behind, so he would not be able to speak right away. Maybe we can use this time for some impromptu conversations.
Yes, yes, absolutely. So, okay, now let me ask all of you. Let me ask any one of you. What are your lessons that you have learned from your kids? You know, even though they are small, they definitely teach us some unique lesson. I can see Sai raising his hand because he also has a lockdown baby like me. And DTM, Distinguished Toastmaster Avinash. So let's go with Sai first.
All right. My lesson is that children love discussing toilets and stuff that goes on in bathrooms. Maybe it's just my son, I don't know, but he's obsessed with doing his business. He's obsessed with the smells, the noises, the craziness that happens in bathrooms. He's obsessed with it. And I wasn't expecting this when we had a child. He's a baby. He's not even gonna know all this. But yes, that's a realization to me that toilet humor starts at a very young age, at least in my family.
I can resonate with you, Sai. Totally. Feeling is mutual. Yeah, Distinguished Toastmaster Avinash Singh. Yes.
Yes, I am available now.
Okay, should we go with the speech? Okay. So, Toastmaster Avinash, let's do an audio video check. We are able to see you. Can you see the screen, timer screen?
Yeah, I can see the timer screen. Am I visible?
Yeah, you're visible and you're audible.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Toastmaster Avinash, the 5 monkeys. The 5 monkeys, Toastmaster Avinash.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day. If you always do what you have done, then you will always get what you have got always. TMOD, fellow Toastmasters, and dear guests. Once upon a time, there was a group of scientists. They conducted an interesting experiment. They took a large cage and put 5 monkeys inside the cage. Then they placed a ladder inside the cage and also tied a bunch of bananas on the top of ladder. Now here, what happened? Whenever a monkey saw that ripened bananas, they ran towards banana to climb the ladder. But scientists poured down cold water on monkeys from above. Then they did not understand what has done, so they again tried. Again, they tried to climb the ladder, but again, scientists poured down cold water. Now, all the monkeys by this incident had concluded that if anyone of us would try to climb this ladder, water would be poured down. So to avoid this cold water crisis, they did one thing. Every time any monkey would try to climb the ladder, the rest of the monkeys gather together and pull down it and beat it and throw it down. Then in this way, they all adopted that we should not climb on that ladder. Now scientists did something different. They took away one monkey from the cage and put a new monkey inside the cage. Now, this new monkey didn't know what was going over there. So whenever he saw the banana, he started running towards banana and started to climb the ladder. But this time, scientists didn't pour cold water on monkeys. Still, all monkeys pulled down that monkey and started beating him and got hurt. The new monkey didn't know what was going on, what is wrong. So he made to second attempt and he started again climb to ladder. But again, all rest of the monkeys did the same thing. He was beaten. Now, this monkey had settled down one thing in his mind, that climbing this ladder is forbidden. What is the reason behind it? He don't know, but he was one thing has registered in mind, that if I would try, then I would be beaten by all these. Second thing, another scientist, second monkey took away from the cage and again put second monkey in the cage. Then this new monkey also know what was the case. So he started again, did the same thing as previous one. He started again climbing the ladder. And again, all the monkeys, rest of the monkeys pulled down him and beat him. He didn't know what was the reason. So he again tried to second attempt. But this time the rest monkeys did the same thing. They all started to beat him. Then again, second monkey got the same understanding as previous one, that climbing of this ladder is forbidden. Now, in this way, one by one, scientists took away all three members, all three monkeys from the old group was replaced by another three new monkeys in the case. Now all five monkeys were new, but no one of them didn't knew why not to climb on this ladder, why climbing of this ladder is forbidden. At this time, they could, if they wanted, they could climb the ladder and eat the bananas. But because there is no longer reason available this time, as there is no cold water showering, no longer happening this time. But all was settled in mind that climbing on this ladder is forbidden. And even none of them tried to climb on that ladder. My friends, there's the same thing happens with us, with humans as well. Thousands of years ago, some traditions or customs were established, driven some regions, but after even after their region no longer exists, but tradition continues. We continue to follow that practice and customs. Most of them doesn't have courage to questioning why we are doing something and why it has been done. This story of experiment on 5 monkeys had a profound impact on me. It made me to think, it made me reflect on importance of questioning established traditions and need to think that we should start questioning in our life. In conclusion, I can say that by the questioning attitude, we can pave the way of growth and positive changes in our life as well as our society. So my friends, think and start questioning. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Avinash. That was a very important lesson that you taught us, in the form of your speech about a mindset. It's very important what kind of mindset we have and what kind of a mindset we nurture. So moving on to a timer. Sai, can you help me with the timings of both the speeches?
Yes, both our speakers qualified to be voted as the best speaker for the evening. Toastmaster Riddhi took a little more than 6 minutes. I was amiss in not recording our time, but it was a little bit more than 6 minutes. The speaker number 2, Avinash, took 6 minutes 45 seconds. Back to you, Toastmaster Riddhi.
Congratulations for both the speakers for being qualified in the speeches. Okay, so the prepared speech segment is over. We move on to the most interesting speech segment, that is the table topics. But before that, I want to ask distinguished Toastmaster Avinash that what are your lessons? We missed that point. I think you wanted to say something. Please go ahead. You're on mute.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear.
It is said that you don't tell your kids what to do. You lead by example, or you show them, because they will copy what you do rather than what you say. And that's exactly what happens at my home. And I had this baffling incident where I told my son to stop watching TV for a while and finish his homework and a few different chores. And he got back to me saying, you don't do that. You don't do the same thing. Why are you telling me? And the father in me, which is, who is the replica of my father, how did you say that to me? I'm your father. I am allowed to do everything. And then I realized that, okay, we need to practice before we preach. And that's one lesson. It's a very painful lesson, but that's one lesson I have to keep on, practicing before I tell anything. So if I do want to do something which I don't want him to know, I will do it in private. I'll not show it to him. But yes, they catch everything. So this is one lesson I have learned: practice before you preach.
Yes, absolutely. I resonate with you, and I've learned my lesson the hard way. General Evaluator Avinash. I think Cyril had raised the hand.
Oh yeah, one thing that I've really learned to my disadvantage is that how these guys are coded into becoming lawyers. Negotiation is something which comes like second nature to them. When I was a kid, if my father says, have these 5 pieces of fruit, I'd be like, yeah, sure. Even if I don't love it, I'll have it. When I say the same thing to my daughter, she'll like 2 pieces. Yeah, let's start with 2 pieces. Negotiation is something which at least my kid seems to be doing brilliantly. I'm sure that the way Avinash laughed, I'm sure that his kid has been doing it brilliantly.
Exactly.
And wait and watch. Your kid's going to negotiate a lot with you.
Exactly the way it is. I mean, Cyril, you just imagine my both daughters become a tag team and start the negotiation. Just imagine what I could be going through.
Double trouble. Yes.
So that brings me to my third lesson, what my daughters taught me. Hide your snacks, especially chocolates. It turns out that this, just like they are good at the art of negotiation, they definitely have a good sixth sense about, where the hidden treats are located. No matter how cleverly you stash them, be it in the cupboard, be in the refrigerator, or somewhere in the corner. These little detectives, especially mine, they managed to uncover it together. They've taught me, the foolproof solution to keep them away from all these treats is, before they can find them, of course, is to consume it. It's a sacrifice that I'm willing to make to experience the parental sanity. Right? So moving on to our next segment, the most interesting and impromptu segment, the table topics session, where we'll be, choosing, or someone would be voluntarily coming ahead and will be delivering a short speech based on the topic provided by our table topic master. So let me hand over the stage to our table topic master, Toastmaster Amruta.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day, Toastmaster Saurabh. And I am the table topic master for today's meeting. Table topic is an impromptu speech session of Toastmasters meeting, and it's an interesting session which will give a chance to guests and members to enhance their skill, like listening, thinking, and speech delivery. So for table topic, the time allotted is 1 to 2 minutes. Green screen should be shown at 1 minute, yellow screen at 1.5 minutes, red at 2 minutes. A grace period of 30 seconds is given to qualify for the vote, and speaker has to speak for a minimum of 1 minute to qualify for the voting. All the speaker are requested to use word of the day. And now let us begin with this session. I have 10 topics and you have to choose between 1 and 10, between 1 to 10. So we will start now. Anyone wants to volunteer?
We'll have to choose if no one volunteers.
Like Cyril said, beginning of
We
the
have to
meeting.
volunteer. Toastmaster Uma is there.
Yes, Toastmaster Uma, you have to choose between number 1 to number 10. Which number would you like to choose?
Number 4.
Okay. Toastmaster Uma, what is more important, the journey or the destination? What is more important, the journey or the destination, Toastmaster Uma? All the very best.
Imagine you have a Google map in your hand. Those gone were the days when we had to ask people to find our destination. Nowadays, you have the GPS in your hand and you can go wherever you want, but you should know where you have to go. So the destination is important, right? But there are different ways to go to a place. You can, especially if you're not aware of the place, sometimes GPS also can trick you. It will make you be going around the place at many times and you will never know where the place actually is. No doubt technology is helpful nowadays, but then you should always have a destination in mind. But what about the journey? Suppose you can go by bus, by train, by a flight, whatever. You have to choose what mode of transport you have to take, is it not? And the process is interesting before you reach the destination. Life is also like that. Destination is always there for us, but how we enjoy the journey. Are we going to accept the challenges in life or are we going to get bogged down by the challenges is left to us? I, for one, will choose an obstacle race compared to an ordinary race. Imagine you're running a 100-meter race and an obstacle race. Which would you choose? A or B? Initially, I thought life is a bed of roses, but then life has taught me that it is full of ups and downs like an obstacle race. Hurdles will be there. Ropes have to be crossed. You have to bend down. You have to jump the buckets. You have to fall. You have to rise. So I have realized that the journey is more important than the destination. No doubt you reach the destination at the end, but how you enjoy the journey, the process, that is more important. I have learned many a lesson during my journey of life. A lot of ups and downs. I always remember my father's words, Uma, life is not a bed of roses. I have realized it now. How about you? Thank you.
Wow, very well said, Toastmaster Uma. I agree with you. And I must say that before Google Maps, there were more mystery and more interaction because we asked many people about the destination. So we will move forward. Anyone wants to volunteer now? Toastmaster Cynthia?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I can try.
Okay, which number would you like to choose? 4 is taken.
7.
Second.
7.
Toastmaster Cynthia, describe one of your travel disaster. Describe one of your travel disaster, Toastmaster Cynthia. All the very best.
Okay, so this is an interesting topic because it is something that's etched in my mind all along. And I think it's going to remain all along with me. The worst travel disaster that I have ever had is more towards the end of the travel rather than towards the entire journey itself. So I had been to Dubai about approximately 8, 9 years back, and I was with my family. We had a very a ball of a time. It was my birthday, and we went to celebrate it there. It was a 3-day journey, and no, 4 days, 4 days trip. It was a 4 days trip, and we went to all the destinations, all the tourist destinations, enjoyed the place, celebrated a grand birthday over there, and we were on our way back. We reached it. It was hot for sure because it was in the month of August, and we did not anticipate the heat. But yeah, it was good. We reached the airport on our way back. We did all the check-in. We went and we checked at the gate, and we realized that the flight has about an hour to go for the gates to open. So we said, let's go and have a beer in the airport. We go and we sit at the club. We have one glass, we have two glasses, and we're wondering how come it's been a while and there has been no announcement, and there's no movement as well. So then we go back to the gate, and boom, what we get to see. The flight gates have closed. The flight is ready to take off. Our luggage is in the flight, and we're on the airport. So we asked the guy, if the flight has not taken off, can you please open the door? Sorry, this is a silent airport, so there wouldn't have been an announcement. You should have checked. You should have been there. We're offloading your bag, and you can take another flight. Goodbye. And that's the worst disaster that I have ever had, because then I had to wait at the airport for 8 hours with my family, trying to enjoy another round of beer. But alas, I just couldn't. They literally censured us at the gate, showing us how irresponsible we were. That was the worst disaster I have ever had. 8 hours of wait at the airport for the next flight with a lot of money that's gone out of the pocket. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Cynthia, for sharing your travel disaster with us. And now we will move forward. Anyone wants to volunteer now? Toastmaster Avinash, which number would you like to choose? 4
One.
and 7 had taken.
Number 1.
Okay, number 1. Toastmaster Avinash, how do you overcome boredom? How do you overcome boredom? Toastmaster Avinash. All the very best.
Thank you for giving me this wonderful topic. I like the most because in my college days, I used to say my friends, there is no word of boredom in my dictionary. And I also saw that, also said that, kahan se kharidi itni bakwas dictionary. By the way, I enjoy my days while reading books or while traveling. And whenever time comes that I can be bored, I have already planned. I knew that this Sunday I have no work, so I can get bored. So I have a plan that I would do something for that friend, or I would do that work. So by having plan, I can overcome my boredom. First thing. Second thing, I always like meditation. So I have thought in my mind, whenever I get time, I can spend hours of my time while doing meditation. So in my life, I cannot get bored. So in this way, I think I overcome my boredomness. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Avinash. I must say, making plans or by doing meditation, you became more productive that time. So next, anyone wants to volunteer now? Toastmaster Ujjwal.
Toastmaster Amruta. Ujjwal's not a Toastmaster yet. It's his first Toastmaster meeting, but I would recommend you to give him a topic which is descriptive for him to speak, that he can speak about.
Okay.
Hi.
Hello, Toastmaster Ujjwal. Which number would you
Hello.
like to choose? 1, 4, and 7 already taken.
8.
8.
Yeah.
Ujjwal, which is worse, failing or never trying? Which is worse, failing or never trying? Ujjwal, all the very best.
Thank you. Thank you, Sai. Thank you, everyone, for this opportunity. This is the first time I am doing such kind of an event. And sorry for the views, I'm still in office. And yes, to start off, I have always been passionate about sports. I have always been passionate about coaching as well. I have been a professional footballer for quite some time. Then I have moved to a different side of the game. Now I don't play, but I help sports to develop through broadcasting and in other aspects. So I feel I did my MBA in marketing. I was into sales. Then I found out that this is not what I wanted to do in life, and sports has always been attached to me. And then I found out a course which was a program which was given by All India Football Federation, which is the governing body of Indian football. So I did that. I did that course, and I eventually landed into sports industry. That is one of the things that I have learned, that I kept on trying. I kept on doing something or the other. I didn't back out on something that this is where I have to settle in. And that is the reason I'm into sports now. Yes, obviously, football being my first love, I am working on football as well as on different sports properties as well, to build sports in India and build the sports culture in India. Yeah, that's about it. Thank you.
Thank you for participating, Ujjwal. And timer, can we have more time to take 2-3 more topics?
I think we can do 2 more.
Okay. Toastmaster Sandhya, would you like to participate?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So 1, 4, 7 and 8 are already taken. Which number would you like to take now?
Sorry, can you repeat which numbers have been taken?
1, 4, 7, 8 are already taken. Which number would you like to take?
I will take number 2.
Okay. Toastmaster Sandhya,
Toastmaster Amruta, can you just give me a minute, because I can't hear you very clearly, and I think it's because Sai is right next door. I'm going to just shut the door of my room and I'll come back. Sorry about this.
Did she say Sai is right next door? That's the reason why she couldn't hear Toastmaster Amruta?
Yeah, even I heard that.
I think it's some echo going on. Probably.
I was trying to
Toastmaster
pull.
Sai, would you like to take? Oh,
I'm back. Yes.
okay. Okay. Number 1, no? Toastmaster Sandhya, if you had to choose something, what would you do? If you had to choose something, what would you do? Toastmaster Sandhya.
Okay, I think if I heard it correctly, the topic is, if I had to teach, what will I teach? Is that correct? Because I couldn't hear you very clearly.
If you had to teach something, what would you teach? If you had to teach something, what would you teach?
Okay, if I had to teach something, what would I teach? I think I'm just going to go with that, because I think that's what I heard. Well, this is a very interesting topic, because I am a teacher by profession, and I teach econometrics and data analytics. That's what I teach. But if I were living in a different world, and if I had to change my profession completely, the question, of course, is if I were to teach, what would I like to teach? Would I still continue to teach economics? I think yes. I would still continue to teach a subject that has a lot of analysis with numbers. And, but I wouldn't, I think, teach economics as such, but with numbers, I think I would like to teach a little bit more about the philosophy of life, especially taking clue from the theme today and this guy who is sitting here with me listening to the meeting today. I would like to teach what we can learn from children. I would like to teach the lessons of life. And if I can do that along with numbers, then nothing like it. Right now, I cannot think of how I would do that, but in a utopian world, yes, that is what I would like to teach. I would like to teach what have we lost as adults? What can we gain by thinking again like children, like being curious like children? What can we learn from them? And what do the numbers tell? Are we going to be better? Are we going to be happier in lives if we started behaving like children? If we didn't care about how we looked on screen, for example, if we didn't care about who is there in front of the screen, all we cared about was our happiness. Like this guy here cares about the godi right now. He wants to be on his mother's godi. And that's important to him. And he doesn't care about who is watching him on the screen. And that is what I would like to teach. Over to you, Table Topics Master.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sandhya, for participating. I really like your dedication. And the last topic for today. Toastmaster Saishri.
Yeah, looks like her thumb came up, so I think she's going to do it.
Toastmaster Saishri, which number would you like to choose? 1, 4, 7, 8 had already taken.
7.
7 had already taken.
Okay. 4.
4 is also taken.
Sorry. Okay. 5 is taken. 5.
Okay. Toastmaster Saishri, what is your hidden talent? What is your hidden talent, Toastmaster Saishri? All the very best.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Amruta. Talent, and that is hidden. Is it true? I have heard. How many of you are agree with that talents will be hidden? I say it has been acquired. Like when we have happens, when I get division conferences, I learn many from you all, right? When you are very much upset, that is also right. How do you agree that? I think it is agree with me and yes. Which is unique to your own self, right? I'm able to see all the memories, all the listen, all the stories very carefully, what you are saying. That is also a talent. Everybody cannot do that. And for that, we need so much patience. That patience is actually talent. Another thing, when we want to achieve something in our life, when we work hard toward that in a right direction with a smart work, that is a talent, and that all can be acquired time to time by our observation, with the experience and some guidance by our seniors our mentor, and our fellow Toastmasters like you all. Are you agree? Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sai Shri, for participating. And now I request Toastmaster Sai to share the timer report.
Yes, gladly. We had 6 participants in table topics tonight. Table topics participant number 1, Uma, spoke for 2 minutes and 19 seconds. Guest Cynthia spoke for 2 minutes, 35 seconds. And unfortunately, Cynthia did not qualify to be voted as one of the best table topic speakers for the evening. Toastmaster Avinash spoke for 1 minute and 24 seconds. Ujjwal, on his debut table topics, spoke for about 1 minute and 50 seconds. Sandhya wanted to teach us how to be children for 2 minutes and 11 seconds. And Toastmaster Sai Shri took 1 minute and 48 seconds to finish her table topics. So the only person who did not qualify, unfortunately, is guest Cynthia.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sai. And thank you everyone for participating in table topics, and big round of applause for all the speakers. And that's it from my side. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Saurabh.
Thank you so much, Table Topics Master Amruta. That was a very well went on session and a very good segment. And we had wonderful topics. Okay, so looking at the performance of our table topics candidates, there's something I want to share. That is a lesson number 4, what my kids taught me. Embrace your inner performer. You know, children are natural entertainers. They have a knack for tuning everyday activities into impromptu entertainment. You know, from singing to shower, and again, the toilet humor, dancing routines in the living room. You know, they taught me a lot of inhibitions and embraced my inner diva. So if you catch me belting some tune while doing my laundry or the daily chores, just remember, it's all thanks to those little maestros, right? Absolutely. Now we move on to our next segment, the evaluation segment, where we would be looking at the reports of the prepared speakers performed and the table topic candidates performed. So moving on to our third and the last segment, evaluations. Let me, with an honor, call upon our general evaluator, distinguished Toastmaster Avinash Singh, about whom the more we talk, the less it is. Ladies and gentlemen, General Evaluator, distinguished Toastmaster Avinash Singh, over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. And it's a privilege and an honor to be here again, because I love coming to this place. Sai starts it, and then everyone follows suit. Oh, Avinash, how great he is. And then I want to be here, because who doesn't want appreciation, validation? My God, I love coming to this club. Talking about general evaluation is that section which you should await eagerly in order to get some feedback. And in general evaluation, we try to censure the discouraging talk. So I will encourage each and every person who is coming on stage during this section to use a lot of commendations and a few recommendations which can help the speaker. This section will be divided into 3 different parts. The first part will be the speech evaluation. The second part will be the role player reports, and the final will be the general evaluation of the whole meeting. Let's start with the speech evaluation. The first speaker was Toastmaster Riddhi, and to evaluate her speech, let me call Toastmaster Sai. And Toastmaster Sai, will you be able to manage both timer and this?
I was going to ask if Cyril can help me with.
I will, Sai. I will. My background.
All right. So let me put myself on spotlight really quick, and let me know when you're ready, Cyril.
Yes, sir.
Oh, wait.
Over to you, Toastmaster Sai.
I can't see Cyril. That's the problem. What happened to Cyril?
He's using the background to show you the cards. So you will see his background.
You'll find green, yellow, and red at the right times.
Your video's turned off.
Yeah,
Cyril.
your video should be on, Cyril.
You'll find green at the right time. Don't worry.
Okay.
All right, I will just
Over
take
to
your
you.
word for it. Right. Speaker once, Riddhi, your speech was a masterclass in understanding the different styles of communication that people use, from direct to taking initiative to analytical to supportive. And when a speech is technical of this nature, when you're discussing different styles of speaking and what works for you and what doesn't work, I think it's very easy to fall into that rut of just describing what each of these speaking styles are and just being extremely detailed and giving very, very vague examples of some manager of yours who was a certain way, and your mother who's supportive, or your parents were supportive, and your grandfather who's very analytical because he was a chartered accountant. You can make those mistakes, but I'm very glad to report that you did not make that mistake. You tied the content of your speech, the different styles of speaking, to roles and modes of communication that we as Toastmasters are very familiar with. And I think that really stood out for me when it comes to your speech, that you chose to use examples which we could instantly pick up. Even a person who's never been to a Toastmasters meeting and is barely aware of things like the R counter and the grammarian, based on what happened prior to your speech starting, would be able to understand that, yes, there is an analytical speaker, the person who is going to give you direct information, or the tag team, the people who are going to analyze, or the people who are going to evaluate your speech and give you feedback. I think that's a very, very good choice. And it really stood out to me that you've thought about how to connect to your audience. And I think I appreciate you for taking that effort to make sure that your examples and what you're talking about is not just some vague, long essay on different styles of speaking, but it connects with something that we recognize as Toastmasters and participants in Toastmasters meeting. Great job on that. The second thing I liked a lot about the way you delivered your speech is that you were dressed for the occasion. You had great confidence. You were able to communicate clearly. It was very well articulated, everything that you said. And that was, again, a testament to your effort that you put in to prepare yourself for the speech. There were no mistakes that I could detect where you forgot what you were going to say, or you backtracked on what you were going to say. Again, it shows a level of commitment and preparation that all of us as Toastmasters can learn from. Sandwiches. So we have to get to the meat of the sandwich, which is the places where I thought there was room for improvement. There was a little bit of a monotone when it came to your delivery. You are giving a speech about speaking styles. You are talking about directness versus analytical versus initiative and supportive. That could have become even more impactful if you would use body language. For example, directness. If you were giving an example of a grammarian who's being direct, you could say, as a grammarian, it's our call to be as clear with our critique as possible. And you give an example with, very, very firmly delivered. And then you have the supportive person, like a mentor. You sit side by side. You could have expressed mentoring as if you were standing adjacent to someone or sitting across from someone and having a conversation with them as friends, as mentors, because that's what a supportive speaker is. I think that was a little bit of an opportunity that you missed. But I did like that at the end of it, you did explain with a really elaborate and detailed example your own style of speaking, which is supportive, which I liked a lot. And I think overall, you've achieved your speech objectives. I would expect as an experienced speaker that you will use more vocal variety, more pauses, more of the technology or techniques of public speaking in your next speech. Other than that, great job. And I support you. And I hope my analytical answer was reasonable to you. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sai. I totally agree with your evaluation and the feedback that you shared. I love the way you went about the speech, Toastmaster Riddhi, and it was in a chronological order, going from one speaking style to the other. I have a few tweaks which you can use in such situations. Always presenting a contrast when you try to share that, okay, what is direct communication style, where it can be helpful. Also tell us where it will not be helpful, because when you try to share about styles, it's always good to know, because end of the day, you are trying to share the message that you have to use different styles in different situations. Also, when you were delivering your own communication style and you were sharing about that incident, it will be much more impactful if you live that incident, add dialogues, have that conversation, show the people how it went. And that will add a little amount of storytelling to this particular speech, and it will, and it will help enhance the level of delivery. So I believe it was a great opportunity that you took with both hands, you shared with us, and thank you. And now let's have a huge round of applause for both the speaker and the evaluator. For the next speech evaluation, let me call Toastmaster Cyril to share speech evaluation for Toastmaster Avinash.
Thank you, General Evaluator.
Can
Toastmaster.
Yes. Sorry, over to you.
Yes. Toastmaster Avinash, it was a pleasure listening to you speak. And it's always a pleasure hearing a story in Toastmasters wrapped up in a speech. They say that to have a great story, there are three things that you need. You need a very arresting beginning, you need a compelling middle, and a strong, memorable ending. You had all three of them. You started with a quote, which is a very tried and tested and very safe and effective way to begin a story. You had a very catchy title, The Five Monkeys. It had me wondering, what is the story all about? And I did not even know that this is a storytelling speech, by the way. You had the monkey experiment as your middle, telling us all about it. And you had a very compelling ending. I didn't really expect that, question the tried and tested examples. It was really, really nicely packaged. Some things that I really liked, you did something which we really appreciate here at BKC Fireflies, which is stand up and deliver your speech. We keep saying that sitting is a new smoking. And unfortunately, in an online environment, we're all sitting. I'm sitting while I'm talking. Whereas while delivering a speech, if you stand up, you can use your body a lot more. You can actually put your entire self into it, which you did. Your hand gestures were on point. You had eye contact. And as far as audience awareness is concerned, you're a professor. You got it hands down. Some things which I thought you could really improve would be vocal variety. You're a professor. You're accustomed to projecting your voice. And the story was narrated in a, can you hear me speak in the background, in the backseat? That kind of, you were projecting your voice. We did not need that in a Zoom environment. Try to make it a little more conversational. We're all sitting around the table and try to make it a little more conversational. And you'll have your storytelling, your story narrating style perfected. Another thing that I'd like to point out would be your camera placement. There was a light behind you, therefore we couldn't see your face really, really well. And while you're narrating a story, expressions and everything would be really, really relevant, right? That we were lacking that a little bit. And also you were looking down at the camera. You was kind of, you're looking down at the camera this way. Whereas if you're close by, I'm not sure whether you were there at the start of this session. We were complimenting speaker number 1, Riddhi, on her ideal camera placement. She had it. When you're participating in a contest, this would be something that I would really recommend that you follow. Camera placement is something. This is an ideal placement. I can see each and every emotion that you have. I can see a smile and everything else. I can even see your eyes. All right. To challenge yourself, I would probably urge you to tell us a story that's a little more compelling than this. The monkey experiment is something which most of us would have heard about in the great university of WhatsApp. Therefore, it didn't have anything new to us. Therefore, try to bring that surprise element. Try to narrate another story if possible, which would probably have your great ending as usual. But all said and done, congratulations on passing this particular project of yours. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Cyril. Indeed, you covered a lot of points in such a short amount of time. One small recommendation for you, also summarize. It will help him to take that with him, those short things, what went well and what could be improved. If you summarize your evaluation, it will do a lot of good things for the speaker. Toastmaster Avinash, my namesake, I love the way, the enthusiasm that you exuded while speaking. when I talk about storytelling, there are a few things which are my go-to. That is, what is the plot? What are the characters and the characterization of those characters? Are there dialogues in it? Is there a little bit of drama? What is the climax, right? So when you talk about storytelling, there are a lot of elements that you have to touch upon. When you are telling a story, it should not be narrating as a part of somewhere. It felt like a reporting rather than narration. Okay, narration plus a live action would have helped, and that's what Toastmaster Cyril was also trying to share with you. So next time, add a little bit more of characters. You can even take the experiment and maybe name one of the monkeys Bakelal and Ram Prasad, whatever, right? And they experiencing, oh my God, right? So if you add those things, those elements, and the little bit of dialogue between the monkeys itself, it will elevate the level of your storytelling. So thank you so much for sharing. And with this, we end this part of the general evaluation. I would request the timer to share the timing report for the evaluators. Toastmaster Sai, over to you.
Both evaluators were able to keep within time. I took the pie. I got 3 minutes, 14 seconds is my time. Toastmaster Cyril took 3 minutes, 18 seconds. Back to you, general evaluator.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Let's have a huge round of applause for both the speakers and both the evaluators. We learned a lot from their speeches and the analytical way of recommending things. Thank you so much. Let's now come to the role play reports. Let me call upon the R counter, Toastmaster Sandhya, to share her report. Toastmaster Sandhya, over to you.
Thank you, General Evaluator. I would like to share my screen quickly. Share my report. I hope all of you can see my screen. So here is the counter report. Let me start with the Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Saurabh. Toastmaster Saurabh, your crutch word is you know. You used that more than 5 times. You repeated the word it's like twice. You also had 4 so's, 1 okay and 2 ers. Toastmaster Sai, you had 4 ers while you were giving your evaluation, 1 pause and 1 repeat. You repeated of Toastmaster Cyril, it was difficult to look at your number of ers, but finally I found 2 ers and 1 you know while you were doing your evaluation. Toastmaster Riddhi, your prepared speech was very well done. I just found 2 ers and once you coughed a bit while giving your speech. Toastmaster Avinash Kumawat, again, very well delivered prepared speech, but during the table topics, you had 2 ers and 1 so. DTM Avinash, 2 ers and 1 you know. Toastmaster Amruta, 2 ers and 1 so. Toastmaster Uma, your record is impeccable, no crutch words, no crutch sounds, nothing, very well done. Guest Cynthia, 2 ers, and you should be a little careful about the ums. You used ums more than 5 times. Toastmaster Ujjwal, please be a little careful about the ers. You used it more than 5 times and you repeated the word the. Toastmaster Saishri didn't find any crutch word while you gave your table topic speech, so another field report again. As a club, I would say that we should really look at censuring the crutch word you know. A number of us have been using that, and of course the word a number of us use that too. So that's my report on the R counter. Let's make a note of the crutch words that we use and try and minimize that the next time. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sandhya. Very nice detailed report, and that's what the role tells us to do. Listen intently and try to share what exactly we can improve upon. On that note, I would like to call the grammarian wearing many hats today, Toastmaster Cyril, to share his report. Over to you, Toastmaster Cyril.
Thank you, General Evaluator. It was a pleasure listening to all the speakers, both the prepared and the unprepared ones, the extempore ones. Some good use of language. Toastmaster Riddhi gave us some great words. Perplexed. Perplexed means to be baffled, to be puzzled, to be confused. Dilemma. Dilemma means there are two things in front of you and you're wondering, you're confused as to which option to take. Another word would be trilemma. When there are trilemma, rather, there are three things to do and you're confused which path to take. Empathy. Empathy, which is different from sympathy. Empathy is when you've gone through a pain so that you can relate to that pain much better than sympathy when you're trying to console someone. Some great phrases. Toastmaster Saurabh, skyrocketing energy. Wow, when you apply that with respect to kids, you really know what that's all about. Rival any rooster. I love that usage. Toastmaster Uma, jump over buckets. I guess that's the new age form of saying roasted over coals, right? Really love that. Toastmaster Avinash Kumawat. Kahan se kharidi itni bakwas dish? That's a great one. Some not so good usage. A speaker mentioned acronymated as something, acronymed as something, use a short form. Another speaker said, I can resonate with you. So I can relate with you. Resonate is like an echo. It's incorrect usage, though it's used a lot these days. Word of the day, censure. I censure most of you for not using the word of the day. The only person that I caught using word of the day was the guest Cynthia. In case any of you used and I did not hear it, I censure myself. Oh, General Evaluator. Right. I take that censure right here. Back to you, General Evaluator.
When I heard the word of the day, I was trying to find out what I could use in. I somehow was able to tell that we censure discouraging talk. That's what I said, and I hope that is correct grammar. Thank you so much, all the role players, and I really love the way you presented your reports. Let's now go to the overall general evaluation of the whole meeting. The meeting started bang on time, 6:30, and I love that with Toastmaster Sai being at the helm. And I love the way he starts the meeting, the way he has that the poise and control and the conversational style. It feels so natural and it comes of course naturally to him. He's a great conversationalist. Thank you for that good start. He then nicely gave it to yet another conversationalist, Toastmaster Cyril, who shared about in fact, he tried to introduce each and every one and know where they're coming from. So thank you so much for a great start. As a presiding officer, there is something which we do at the beginning of the meeting is declare the start of the meeting number. So I hereby declare the start of the meeting number 115, and I hereby declare the end of, right? So you are supposed to declare it. That is one thing which can be done. And apart from introducing the guest, a little short anecdote would have done wonders to uplift our spirits. I truly understand that Toastmaster Sai had already done a lot of things in order to raise the bar, but as a presiding officer, a short inspirational talk can help. Let's come to yes, so let's have a huge round of applause for the Sergeant at Arms and the presiding officer for starting the meeting on time and with a lot of enthusiasm. I'll come to the Toastmaster of the day at the end. Let's go to the role players. Timer, again, wearing many hats. Toastmaster Sai did a fantastic job with the timer system that we have, the Caleb timer, and it was done impeccably. But what you could have done while sharing your role is to also show the timer when you are sharing that particular role. So that is one thing which you can do in future. Our counter, Toastmaster Sandhya, I truly applaud I could see the Mother India there right? And she is handling so many things, and being with the kid, and who is the result of two ardent speakers. He is he is going to speak a lot, and very soon maybe join the Gavel Club, maybe the youngest one to join the Gavel Club, and then become a great speaker. So kudos to you on helping out the club, and showing a lot of say contributing attitude. I love that. So thank you so much. And your reports were in detailed, and it had a takeaway. So thank you so much for it. Let's have a huge round of applause for Toastmaster Sandhya and Toastmaster Sai. And then the Gram. So the Gram came and he delivered some nice little nuggets of wisdom on grammar. I am in love with the language he speaks and the knowledge of the language that he has. So thank you so much for enlightening us with that knowledge. And I hope I learned something today. And that's one thing which I do each and every time I come to BKC Fireflies, is that I learn a lot, especially from Toastmaster Cyril and Toastmaster Sai. Thank you so much. The evaluators and speakers, I already shared my feedback. They were they did a fantastic job. So kudos to all the three role players. Let's have a huge round of applause once again, and the speakers and the evaluators. Let's now go to the table topic master, Toastmaster Amruta. I love the way you ticked all the boxes. You shared about what table topics is and why does it help us in a Toastmasters meeting. You shared about the timing guidelines. You also shared and encouraged people to use the word of the day. And that's all three check boxes done very nicely. Thank you so much. You missed one thing in the LTOD, that is listening, thinking, organizing, and then delivering. The organizing was missing. So that helps us to organize our thoughts in a way that it flows and has an impact. That's something which can be added. Your topics were so simple to understand, and it helped the speakers speak for more than a minute. And in fact, the guest Cynthia was so enthusiastic that she wanted to speak more and more. Guest Cynthia, please join the club and have a prepared speech on that very topic. So it would be great. One recommendation for all the table topic speakers is to add a small anecdote to support why do you think so, or what is it that you felt, what is more important, journey or destination. So this was the first topic. What exactly, can you share an anecdote from your life? It will reach or relate to more people than just saying about it. So that is something which we, as table topic speakers, if we add, it will add to the overall impact. Kudos to all the table topic speakers and of course the table topic master. Let's have a huge round of applause for all of them. Thank you so much. And then coming to the Toastmaster of the day. Toastmaster of the day. Wow, that was indeed a very unique topic. They say child is the father of the man, but you shared how that goes, and thinking about what lessons we can learn from our children. And I love the way you conducted the whole meeting. It felt like a nice flow, and a few things which can be added to the Toastmaster of the day speech is, at the beginning itself, talk a little bit about Toastmasters International in general, the Pathways curriculum, and what BKC is all about. So if you give the guest an idea of all these things, they will be much more informed and they will know what to expect. You did mention the parts of the meeting which was great, and then you carried on. When you are talking, when you are in the middle of two speeches, right? So there is a section. Try having your theme between different sections rather than between, between a particular section, as in, there are two speeches and trying to say something between that speech. If there is something else, maybe, if you knew that Toastmaster Avinash was running late, then that is a good idea. However, other than that, you can just share, start after the role players are introduced, a little bit of the theme, then the prepared speeches, then between the prepared speeches and the table topics, a little bit of the theme. So that could help. And finally, if the club can also start giving some feedback through the audiences also, maybe the Toastmaster of the day can say, will give you 30 seconds to personally share what you liked and what could be improved by the guest and by the audience to the speaker directly on chat. That can help. Or you can run a form that will also help the club in order for the person to get more feedback. All in all, it was a lovely meeting. I loved every second of it. And with this, I give it back to the Toastmaster of the day to continue the meeting. Thank you, and over to you, Toastmaster Saurabh.
Thank you so much, General Evaluator Avinash Singh. And I will definitely note down the points which you have recommended and work on it in my next assignment as a Toastmaster of the day. And thank you for such a wonderful feedback. And thank you all the role players and evaluators. So now we have come to the end of the session. So before we close, I have lesson number 5 to share with you. The most important lesson. And what is it that we rarely do is laugh. Laughter is the best medicine. You know, kids have an incredible ability to find humor and make us and tickle us to laugh. Although sometimes I do want to censure it whenever I'm in some task, but a silly face, a funny noise, or even a small tickle can turn the gloomiest day into a funny one or a comedy show. That has reminded me that to laugh is the best medicine, and one should definitely laugh a lot, because you can find everyday joy in the moments that you live in, especially with your kids. You know, when you always tend to take life too seriously. Altogether, a good belly laugh is always better than a gloomy day and is always good for your soul. So, ladies and gentlemen, I come to an end to this session. In conclusion, I just have to tell you a small few things. My daughters have taught me a lot. They taught me very important lessons I just shared with you, from negotiation skills to sleep deprivation to snack thievery and embracing your inner performer and the power of laughter. They kept me on my toes. They filled me with a lot of joys and laughter and happiness. So here is to the amazing and comedic lessons my kids have taught me. Let's cherish them. Let's cherish the lessons we learn in our day-to-day life from the kids around us. Let's embrace the chaos and always remember. Try to find the humor in the beautiful mess called parenting. Thank you so much. Keep laughing. Over to you, Presiding Officer.
Thank you so much, Dr. Toastmaster Saurabh Patil, for the amazing session. We really learned a lot and we really laughed a lot. Exactly what we say is the club motto here. You really, as in your first ever role as Toastmaster of the day, you excelled at showing the club motto. Thank you so very much. I know that we're running short of time. Let me quickly ask Zuma Sasai to launch the poll. There you go. Wow. I urge each and every one of you to vote for to vote on the polls. While you're doing that, let me not waste much time. Toastmaster Uma, if you're done voting, would like to chat with you on how you found today's meeting. Toastmaster Uma, I guess you're still voting. Toastmaster Ujjwal, in which case, how was your very first experience as a speaker, that to an extempore speaker? Man, I'm drawing blanks. Yeah. Okay, there you are, Toastmaster Uma.
So it was a wonderful meeting where I had a lot of takeaways, starting from the Toastmaster of the day, where we learned that we learn a lot from children, and the way he explained through different anecdotes, it was wonderful learning indeed. And the way he ended saying that laughter is the best medicine. So a lot of takeaways, and even from the speakers, from the table topics, the wonderful table topics we got from the table topic master, the evaluation, and also the general evaluator. All in all, I had wonderful takeaways, and my time was worth spending here. Would love to come again to the meeting. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. We'd love to have you again, and we'd love to hear. You have a lovely voice that makes you the second lovely voice here, along with Toastmaster Cynthia. We'd love to have you back, and we'd love to hear a prepared speech from you. Please feel free to reach out to me or Sai. We'll be happy to slot a speaking slot for you. Toastmaster Cynthia, you're moving away. We'll get in touch with you, either Toastmaster Sai or I nearly said Toastmaster myself. Sai or myself will be getting in touch with you. We have a small announcement which you may like to hear. Guest Ujwal, how was it being on the hot seat? Was the seat hot to begin with?
Yes, it was really great listening to all of you. How well it's organized. How well it's organized, and how you guys are making everyone comfortable. So I really enjoyed it. Even though I was in office, I was listening to it so carefully that I'm really excited to join this club.
Splendid. We'll look forward to having you on board. It really didn't come across as an extempore speech today. We thought you really had it in the back of your hands. You owned that table topic.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Table topic master Amruta, how was it? Did we live up to your target?
It was a wonderful meeting today, and I really enjoyed today's theme. I realized that I negotiate with my dad till date, and the moral of today's theme is that fathers are more easily fall for their daughters, and the general evaluation topic is also more interesting because how Toastmaster Avinash made simple simple for everyone, and I learned a lot. So I enjoyed. Thank you.
Thank you. We learn a lot whenever Toastmaster Avinash is in the room. And one thing that he said, having that audience suggestion, that's something that we shall be implementing for the next meeting. I shall be asking you to come back as GE once again, Toastmaster Avinash. And that meeting, I'd ask you to be at your brutal best or brutal worst. All right. Do give us a very honest and very nails and claws version of general evaluation. Let me come back to the other Avinash in the room. How was it today?
I was really excited and enjoyed a lot. When the meeting started at 6:30, I was in office. When I joined the meeting, I was not expecting so much highly organized, and the level of meeting was so learnable that I had taken a lot of takeaways and many learnings, especially from Toastmaster Cyril, you, Toastmaster Avinash, Toastmaster Saurabh, all the members. I have taken one or two takeaways from each of the members, and I really enjoyed a lot and really get a high points of taking notes. Over to you.
Splendid. I see that Toastmaster Riddhi is already chatting with someone in the background. I guess that's cue for me to announce the results of today. Best table topics speaker. The audience believed that the best table topic speech went to, the award for the best table topic speech went to Toastmaster Uma, who gave us that lovely voice about, I forget the speech. It was something which I really enjoyed. And I remembered that destination journey, right? Which is more important. Great. The best speaker for today, the audience felt Toastmaster Riddhi, you aced your speech today. I've been chatting with Toastmaster Riddhi. She mentioned that she was a little nervous. It really didn't show at all. You're always your charming best.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Speech evaluators. It was Toastmaster Sai and Toastmaster myself. Toastmaster Sai wins it all the time. He was there on the podium as a finalist for the evaluation speech contest. Congratulations, Toastmaster Sai, for acing it once again. Best auxiliary role player. it hands down goes to the multitasker among us, Toastmaster Sandhya, whom generally valued Avinash said, Mother India. The primary role player, any guesses? No, we're running out of time. It went hands down to the man who's trying this role for the first time, Toastmaster Saurabh. Nicely done.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. We have a lot to learn from you.
Ah.
Right. And someone mentioned that fathers fall for their daughters. My daughter's sitting right behind, and she wants me to join her with a YouTube video that she's watching.